morning and good evening to everyone. Am I audible to everyone?
Yeah, good,
Yeah,
good
you are.
evening. Good evening.
Thank you. Good evening. Good evening. So that's why you can make the live because we have few audience are waiting.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so welcome to this roundtable discussion. And today's topic is like data-driven decision making on restaurant owner using AI. So I'm Sachi, CEO of Techno Exponent, and I'm thrilled to lead today's discussion on this cutting-edge topic. Let me start like how we can interact. So basically, I will start about myself and brief discussion about the topic and problem which I feel or our team feel that there exist. And then I will be introducing all of the speakers today. And then I will reach like each of the viewers and each of the speakers about to ask about the today's topic and what their feelings and how we can solve this problem. And after that, we have interactive question answer sessions from our audience that also we will take. Last time, we couldn't take all the question answers, but this time we will be try to take as much as question answers possible because we have 1 hour time to complete this full events. Well, so let's start this exciting event. Okay. Okay, I think we have few more participants. So yes, Michael also joined. Okay. Okay, so introducing about myself. So I'm Sachi, CEO and co-founder of Techno Exponent. Techno Exponent having 400 plus in-house engineers. Currently, I'm doing my PhD on generative AI from SSBM, and my topic is NLP and sentiment analysis. And so first time when I introduced this topic, and I feel it's very interesting because of, I constantly travel different part of the world. Like last month, I was in Metaverse Summit in Dubai, and this month I'm going to Finext in Dubai, and next month I'm going to Singapore in GeoConnect, participating that event. So while traveling to different part of the globe, I go to the different restaurants. So when I was Dubai and I was meeting a restaurant owner, he was actually from India. So local language, a lot of chit chat happening. So he was asking me which part of the India you are living and what is kind of things you do, why you participate those events and things like that, and lot of local languages was we were talking about. Then I was asking, as usual, like how is your business, how you are doing. So a lot of discussion was going on. So then he said me like, business is going well, but there are a lot of problems. I said, what kind of problems? So he said, a lot of setup costs there. Then it's very tough to understand the customer minds. And then major problem is that he is not sure like which menu customer will like, which menu customer will not like, and which one will be sold today. And finally, he also said like you are having a problem to do the marketing. So I understand that he do the social marketing probably through Facebook, Instagram, and things like that. So he's not sure like which foods he should promote. So customer get excited. And we have few more guests. Sorry, I'm just admitting them. Uh, okay, so we already started topic which who joined lately. So I was talking about the how we thought about the topic. So yes, continue from there. So when I met with that restaurant owner, so he was talking about his problem. Like he's not sure like which product to be market and which product to produce, and managing inventories is bit of tough. And mainly he's facing a challenge like how he will be which food customer will like and which food customer will dislike. So I said you don't have a data, like you have a data, like you have a sales data and everything. Probably you manage CRM and stuff like that. So why don't you find like which food customer will like and which food customer dislike, and if you make a feedback system, then the problem solved. So he said, there's a lot of problem, it's a lot of data to handle, then I'm not sure that how to manage those. So a lot of problem he explained me. But then I realized that yes, problem definitely exists, but maybe some of us are explaining the problem, some of our understanding the problem, some of our realizing the problem, but some of us are not realizing the problem. But actually the restaurant, as a restaurant owner, the problem is there. So I also requested few restaurant owners to come to this, invitations in this discussion. Those they said, they are not technically sound to talk about this or explain about their problem, but they really want to listen, and so they come as an audience and YouTube channel. So, and they also, some of them asked me that if we can send them this kind of this recording and everything. So I will be going to all of you slowly, like to know how you guys are thinking, like how we can solve the problem in AI, and do you feel like this kind of problem exists, and also, know to each other that which fields each of you belong to and things like that. That's the purpose. Let me introduce each of the team members. So we have today's as a speaker board. So I will be introducing one after one. If I miss to introduce any of you, so please forgive, and you can introduce yourself as well. So in the list, I have Michael Collins. He's the CTO of Techno Exponent. And then we have Ayush Bhatt. He is a director at Startup Grind. We have Dr. Preetdeep Singh. He is a Chief Analytic Officer and Vice President at Invest India. We have Ahmed Yashak. He is a serial entrepreneur and public speaker, and also he is a gold and crypto trader. We have Sharnabo Shah Sardar. He is a blockchain developer. We have Vikram Bansal. He's the CTO of Techolutions AI, and he's also RS from IIT Mumbai, IIT Bombay actually. Then we have Professor Alex. He is a cybersecurity analyst. We have Omar Parvez. He is a founder and CEO of Work. And we have Yasid Jamal. He's a business development manager of MST. We have Samin Yasser. He is a founder and CEO of AI Answer.us. We have Krishna Kumar Devnali. He is a co-founder and strategic growth advisory of Athene Venture. We have Yasan, who is a co-founder and chief AI scientist. We have Paolo. He is a technical advisory of Artadi. And we have Anatoly, who is a lead analyst of IPCA. Welcome to this discussion. If I miss someone, kindly, just forgive me if any of you want to introduce, if I miss someone to introduce in this meeting. Okay, no worries. So I will be coming to you. Before that, I have did my little bit research to categorize the problem. So it will be helping you to talk about more about this. So there are two categories I found. One is the major problem, another is the minor problem. So what is the major problem in this restaurant specifically? So I found the major problem is that maybe you may not be agree with me, but what I found as a major problem is that, like, demand forecasting is one of the major problem. Then dynamic pricing is second problem. Personalized recommendation is third problem. Feedback and sentiment analysis in the restaurant business, I feel one of the major problem is there. And then fifth is the menu optimizations. Then I found there are few minor problem also exist. It may not be minor, but it might be a major as well. But I feel I categorize as a minor problem. That is staff productivity and the inventory management. So those are the problem I feel from my research. And I will also come back to you one after one. So first, I want to talk about demand forecasting. So I want to ask from our, from the speaker that what you feel about the demand forecasting. I will go. Any of you want to talk about the demand forecasting? Any AI scientist, any doctor, or any business owner, CTOs want to talk about the demand forecasting problem?
Do you want us to be raising our hands when we're ready to talk?
Yeah.
Okay. I think he beat me to it. But so you can go ahead, or I can just start. So you're separating them, but demand forecasting and inventory management, they are related. You
True.
cannot separate the two. So I know you
I
call that one a
absolutely.
minor problem, but me when I'm talking to clients, so I mean I own a tech company in Dubai, US, and Nigeria. So we deal in different continents, but the issue is still the same thing. First of all, we always want to make sure that the client understands the difference between the data science and the AI, even though they're related. So AI cannot operate without the data. So I'm saying to the clients or the guy you met in Dubai, the whole issue is how is he getting the data? How is he collecting the information? How does he know what the clients want? So if you collect some data, you're using AI to, if you're doing, so you're doing data analysis, so you're doing that supervised or unsupervised learning or deep learning or machine learning. I'm sure most of us have an idea what I'm talking about. But the difference is now AI is going to take that data and make a little more sense out of it. So if your client in the restaurant, he can have a chat box, people can order, and he can see what they're ordering. And based on that, he will be having an idea about the demand. And then that will also inform what he's going to do in his inventory. And this is not a new concept in hospitality or restaurant. McDonald's, other restaurants in the US are already using AI. If you see the breaking news from last year, Google is partnering with one of the major companies there to be able to take the data and make sense out of it and be able to give you a future trend. So whereas I can collect data, the advantage of AI is the AI will now take that data and be able to tell the client, okay, last month let me use McDonald's as an example, or since we got Indian audience, let's say my guys are eating biryani, chicken biryani as opposed to vegetable biryani. So I'll be able to see, okay, what did they eat more in the last month? What time of the day were they eating it more? Where were they coming from? And how was the quality of the food? And I will take that and I can better forecast what they're going to need on the first Tuesday of every month. And as a result, I will make sure I have the right type of inventory. I can fix my inventory to meet that demand. Make sense?
Makes sense. But here is
Yeah.
one of the thing I like to say before I go to another one. McDonald has a big system and things, but the
Yes.
person whom I met, he's not my client. I just go to his restaurant. So he's a mid-level business, not having a
Yes.
kiosk device and stuff like that. But he is a simple order management system. So problem is that how for a small or mid-level business owner we solve the problem who doesn't have a big system and they cannot afford to have that big system of chatbot and stuff like that.
Yeah. How does he take his orders?
So he
Because
he has
even
a
if
he has a
he has a
simple
simple
computer
order
and a
system,
CRM kind of system, and he entered there the order and he put the invoice and he raised the bill and send it to the customers.
so for him, he's going to need, of course, he's going to need maybe a larger data set compared to his own smaller data set and do some kind of extrapolation and look at the trend to be able to do better, right? So I don't want to monopolize the conversation, but even if it's small businesses are actually well equipped to take advantage of data-driven decision making and AI. So I know you think, okay, McDonald's, they've got data all over, but you can also get data or your data sets from other places and help you to make better decisions. So I'll come back later, maybe towards the end. Let me
Yeah,
somebody else talk.
absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks for this good suggestions. And like demand forecasting, dynamic pricing, and inventory management, these are correlated. So I want to go other of our speaker that if you have a kind of a solution or what kind of problem you feel like really we can solve it out.
Sure. I'll just come in. Thank
Yeah,
you for
sure.
that. So, from what it seems like, I think they've got their own proprietary data. They might not have access to a big data set, but they've got something going because they would be filing whatever company returns that they have. So they have some bit of data. They probably don't have the capability to process that data to make sense of that data, right? So there are two
Perfect.
things that I can think of. One is, unless you have squeezed everything out of the Excel sheet, there will not be a lot of point in moving to AI, right? If an Excel can tell you that, you are wasting 10 liters of oil every day, I think we need to focus on that before we move to, okay, how do you optimize for the number of onions that you cut every day, right? So this takes care of your demand as well as your inventory. So first, you need to squeeze the Excel. For that, you can hire practically anybody. You can use Fiverr for it, right? All you need is an Excel sheet with a set of questions in your mind. One. Second, if that sort of resource for whatever reason is not available, the Chat GPT-4, the Plus subscription, it gives you code interpreter, right? You could simply upload that Excel sheet onto GPT-4 and ask it questions. Can you forecast this for me? Could you tell me if I'm wasting this? Can you create a strategy? And that also becomes very simple. So what probably this person would require is maybe an hour's worth of sensitization on what data can unlock for them, what their own data can unlock for them within a price band of, let's say, $100, right? I'm including Fiverr as well as GPT-4 as well as whatever other things they might be needing. So I think we squeeze the Excel before we move to AI. Thanks.
Absolutely. Another point we got it. And apart from that, also there's a personal recommendation. Also, is one of the problem they are facing. Like whether what to recommend to the food, especially like the similar kind of food or which food can be associated with that. Yes. So any of those point, if next people want to talk about more.
Yeah. Hi,
Yeah.
good evening,
Yes.
gentlemen.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So, I'll give a little focus over about Dubai market over here.
Mm.
So I've gone through the points that you have said, like the biggest challenges or like the major challenges like demand forecasting. We talk about dynamic pricing, feedback and sentiment, menu optimization, and many other things. So I'll give you one of the examples of menu optimization. Before
Mhm.
that, I'll talk about one major chain that happened just 3 years back in Dubai. Albaik, I would like to give an example of Albaik. Albaik is a very big brand of Saudi
Mhm.
Arabia, and
Mhm.
it's one of those brands which has beaten already McDonald's, KFC, and many other major brands. The reason was quality and the kind of you can say quality was the basic thing. Second thing, the pricing. These were the two basic things. So when you talk about over here, the major changes that was seen in Dubai market, it originated in the year 2020 or
Mm.
21, I guess, 21. In 2021, in the month of March, the very first center it opened in Dubai Mall. So
Yeah.
after that, now it has like around, I guess if I'm not wrong, around 8 to 10 branches. But all of those branches are their own. They don't go for franchisee. And still, if you go in any of the remotest kind of the Albek restaurant or like the pickup area, you'll find a lot of queue, like around people, 20, 30 people would be still standing at any point of time you go. What
Mm.
was the reason? It has seen, as you mentioned very well, like demand forecasting. That's for sure. Menu optimization, dynamic pricing. Very first thing what it showed that like everyone is selling over here burgers, nuggets, fries, and all those things. But what is the most unique thing? He came up with his own product with only two, three products at the initials, and people were already knowing that. So based on that, it created a hype where people wanted to have a different set of taste. People go KFC, they've already gotten bored. Same thing with McDonald's and all the burgers, they all have the same sort of taste. They came up with their own taste, they came up with their own inventory, and they came up with their own product, which actually revolutionized the market in UAE, I would say. Now, like if you see, they have actually gone through every single thing. And when you talk about data driven science and in restaurant industry, they have actually applied that part because they have seen what sort of products are actually having market value, what sort of value does it have. For example, the most basic food which is being sold in UAE is shawarma.
Mm.
It's the most basic thing. Every restaurant, every cafeteria you'll find. Even Albek has shawarma. They've started now. But the thing is, the demand for shawarma in their restaurant is the least. So that's why some of the restaurants, they've completely stopped that. The demand is more for nuggets, for some specific burgers that they are promoting, for the big burger that they have. They want to promote those things, and those are their signature menu with the least price and the most effective, demand effective kind of products which is there. So they have actually studied the market, and they have actually applied the science that which products are actually working out really well and people are liking it. They are actually only focusing, targeting those things, and right now they have very good customer base. So, like here, if I talk about the issue was related to demand forecasting. So, how did they solve this issue? Very first thing, they did not start up with 10 or 20 branches, even though they were very well known brand in all over Saudi Arabia. They did not start with 10, 20 branches. They started with only one,
Mm-hmm.
and they saw the demand, what is there in the market, and slowly, slowly, they spread themselves over here very well. Even before starting up the restaurant, people were eagerly waiting for them to start up. So that was
Okay.
one of the examples of demand forecasting. Then probably dynamic pricing. Pricing was definitely a very big factor because they were giving very good
Sure.
products for very competitive price. And definitely feedback and sentiment, they all know people, everyone whoever is the consumer for them, they know them very well what sort of products they are actually selling. And menu optimization, as I given the example of this shawarma and the other nuggets and everything, this is how they have actually given their feedback. So that's how I would say, like, these four problems they have actually taken very well, and they have been able to solve it really well, and they are right now success. They are big success right now.
Absolutely. This is a problem solving you already explained, but my questions want to know more from the business owner and CTOs and AI scientists. Like, um, so as a AI researcher, I also understand this problem can be solved out easily. So what I was thinking, like, easily they can grab their sales data, they can grab their customer data, and they can make some model and can build it. So anyone want to talk about more like this problem for a small and mid-level business owners, how quickly they can come up with the solutions, how quickly they can go to a, how AI scientists are feeling it in a cost-effective way to give us solutions.
So definitely these small restaurant owners, they are doing social media optimization, social media ads running, like using Pixel for Facebook and other things, like for Meta, as well as
Yeah,
they are using Google ads and other things, with which they are able to get complete data,
yeah.
and they can see what sort of products demands are there, even what time they are getting more sale. So based on these data, they can definitely create a consolidated sheet. Apart from that, based on the areas they are targeting, what are the vendors which are there using online way, like for example, I'm
Mhm.
talking about in India, Swiggy or Zomato,
Zomato.
or
Mm,
many other platforms are there. Because right now, even if I start a small takeaway counter, still I can have very good business, and I don't need to
true.
have an entire area. So based on that, I can also check out with my consolidated street that what has happened in the entire month, which area has been more, and then I can also do, like, based on the report that has been given by these third party vendors, they can also give me the report that which of my products have done well and which are the other products doing well in the market. They are
Mm,
actually using these small restaurants, and their the products which are sold in these restaurants, they are using that data, and then accordingly they are providing AI based results to the customers, as well as to the consumer, as well as to the restaurant owners. They can come up and they can tell this is right now in demand in the market, and that's how you
mm.
can also come up with some sort of ideas, and that can definitely help them to build up things well. Here, it's doing wonders. Noon, Talabat, or you talk about Deliveroo, these are doing wonders over here,
No,
especially
yes,
Noon.
yes, I completely understand the solutions is there. So I just wanted to know, like, from the people here more, like, how cost effectively we can build the solutions from the engineers. Samin, if you want to talk, or Michael or other people want to talk about it. Michael, you want to say something, or Raja?
Yeah, sure. Okay, as far as the reduction of the cost is concerned, so there are two parts: the way we implement it and the algorithms that we do integrate to help reduce the cost and to help the business at the same time. So I was listening about from Yasir about menu optimization. So I would like to add few points to that. And one of the very important things with menu optimization is ingredient cost analysis. Now, let me tell you, or let me give you a case study with a very famous restaurant. Uh, so they were selling a particular item called veg platter, and they started selling plant-based meats. Now, after a few months, they suddenly stopped those particular items, because when they did the cost analysis, and especially the ingredient cost analysis, they
Mm-hmm.
found that the plant-based meat, the ingredients and the material that is being used, that's very costly, and not much people are interested in it. But there is a demand. There is a demand from the vegetarians. There is a steady demand. But the problem is that the main factor in ingredient cost, in the ingredient cost, is to optimize the menu pricing and profitability. So if the ingredients are very costly, or if it's difficult to preserve the ingredients, or if you need that kind of a freezer and that kind of a temperature and that kind of a electricity requirement to preserve those ingredients that is required to prepare a particular menu item, then at the end of the day, it would not be very profitable. And one other thing that we can, and our algorithms can help with that, seasonal variation is also very, very important. From the historical data, we can definitely predict, or we can do predictive ordering. We can utilize AI algorithms to predict the ingredient demand. Now, the demand of the ingredient depends on the demand of the food, and depending on the demands of the ingredients, because ingredients is something that you need in a restaurant to prepare the food, and there are many very different kind of ingredients, and they have their own costs. If you're making biryani, you need kesar and all those kind of ingredients. Some of the ingredients are very costly and difficult to preserve. So we need to take, menu items are good, but how to prepare them, what are the ingredients, and how to manage them properly, and how to do a predictive analysis, how to do predictive orderings, and how we can really vary based on the season. So those are the things that we can definitely consider, and our algorithms can come up with that what menu you should be keeping in what season, and in accordance what to the preservation and availability of the ingredients which are required to prepare that particular food item.
Thank you, Raja, for telling the points. I will go to the any other who wants to talk, but I want to focus on the feedback and sentiment. As we all know, the feedback can build any business and it can destroy any business. So, how a mid-level restaurant owner can collect the feedback, can analyze it, and based on that, how they can market their product. If this my topic makes creates any value, so you can speak about it. Anyone want to open up on that particular?
I'll start. I was just kind of
sure, Michael.
lead into like what was discussed a moment ago. I think a lot of, depending on your region and the saturation of like different type of technologies, I think you need to organizations in the restaurant space or restaurants need to kind of think about where they are on their digital journey and where they are on their maturity in data. And so if you look at it from like, I guess, the US or North America context or US context in particular, there's a lot of saturation with point of sale systems, which is really kind of a key entry point for data intake, data management. But if you go across to, the East or different section, other parts of the world, those type of systems are less widely used. The saturation and penetration of those type of data entry systems are less used. And so that right there, you're looking at kind of different ways of thinking about that digital journey. So in a US context, in order to get organizations ready, they typically have a point of sale system. They typically have data. They typically can kind of get that. And so what you want to do really quickly is help them understand how many data points they need to really kind of do some type of AI analysis, work with them to kind of clean up their data and get it set up to be ready for an AI kind of tool. And that can be recommendation systems, inventory management, fraud detection, et cetera. If you're in another region where that initial maturity level, at least in as far as data entry, is less, automated, if you will, then in that context, a lot of times what you want to do is really help them build that maturity. And so there can be a couple ways you can look at it. As what was mentioned before, you can help them, whatever systems they're using, whether that's an Excel sheet they pull out from some system, or leveraging their current systems and creating some type of flow to get more data in it, or leveraging some type of open source point of sale system to kind of integrate into their restaurant stack, using, to kind of get them on that upward trajectory of maturity. Because ultimately, if you want to leverage AI, you want to leverage machine learning, data science, all of those things, you need data. And so the key thing is really helping them any organization get closer to having enough data sets, enough sample data points that you can then begin to do some type of analysis. And so I think with each organization, you take a different approach. It depends on the region, the context, et cetera. But that's how you, in my view, like how you look at that digital journey and their data journey and go step by step based on region specifics, that organization specifics, etc.
Thank you, Michael, for pointing out few points. I will be asking to Ayush, Sharnav, or Samin, Krishna, if they want to highlight some of their points or some of their views, or any of you.
Yes, I'll go ahead. So when we talk about feedback and sentiment analysis, I believe 2 points are very essential to talk about. One of them is monitoring your brand reputation. So it's very important that you monitor how your brand has been doing and how it has been performing in the near, let's say, 6 to 8 months. The kind of reviews that people give on various social media channels, or let's say aggregator platforms have their own review systems. So that is one of the important steps in taking your brand journey or building out solutions that can help your brand grow. Another important point in terms of feedback and sentiment analysis would be to benchmark against competitors. So a lot of people, and it's general consumer behavior, that they pit you against different people that are selling in the same categories. It's very important and to analyze in terms of how you're doing in terms of taste, in terms of pricing, in terms of how much overall you are pitting against them. So yeah, it's very important. Leveraging AI in these senses can be very important. Like some of the web methods would be social media monitoring tools, or let's say some text analysis to figure out kind of reviews that you are getting or your competitors are getting. Because right now, data is something that is freely available at a lot of places. So you can easily go to aggregator platforms. You can get those insights and those data, and you can analyze them, and you can use even free chat models. Chat GPT
Sure.
3.5 also help you analyze these type of data. So yeah, at the beginning, if you want to cut costs and you are very small at a very starting space, you can use and analyze this to, let's say, optimize your menus, to optimize the data that you're getting in, and to yeah, let's say just start in terms of how you utilize data, because that starting is also an important step.
Yeah, Ayush is absolutely correct. In this context, one more thing I just wanted to highlight if you want to also solve the problem. So basically, the productivity of the employee. So specifically, I also few queries sometimes I get while I travel to different parts. So one queries is important, like if in my restaurant if there are 5, 6 staff there who are constantly taking orders. So how can we make sure the increase the productivity? So I have a solution, I want to highlight it, and then I also listen about your solution. This is also regarding to the restaurant itself. So basically, let's say in a restaurant of I have, let's say, 4, 5 staff, and then but I and how to analyze they are at all productive or not. So thought about this way, like we can make like a few CCTV cameras in a restaurant and then track that person, that how they are moving away. If they are constantly moving or are frequent movers to the things, or if they are just sitting up or standing up a place and their movement are less, in that case we can pick that yes, your movement was at the end of the day was that much of ratio, so that means you are actually I mean his productivity is high. And if he is not moving, he is constantly sitting, and at the end of the day our AI is reporting that his movement was low, then it might be a his productivity is less. So I thought the solution this way. This problem also I get some of the restaurant owners and some of the close Q&A. I also got those problems. So do you feel like agree with me, or a lot of persons are there, they can have a better solutions than that?
I do believe that can be a good solution in terms of workflow optimization. Like we can have AI in trained in such a way that it can analyze various preferences such as employee availability, skills, preferences. Let's say if
Yeah,
somebody likes to sit around, you can give them specific tasks. If somebody likes to move around, you can give them specific tasks, and you can have, like, let's say, a balanced and equitable schedule that fits all employees, so that it can improve productivity in different ways. So it suits what everybody likes to do or what everybody is predicted to do, and it can optimize the workforce at a larger extent as well.
that's great. Samin, Krishna Kumar, or Sharnav, do you want to talk, or if anyone want to talk more about any of this? Okay,
Uh,
so before, yeah, go ahead, Sharnav.
yeah, so thing was I was like listening to everyone. The problem with that the system you said that the person moving and or not, maybe that sometimes can create a problem with like it will be like telling you to move. either you have to move or you are not working. Maybe that's not the case in always. Let's
Mm,
say if it's a crowded places or a very small space, it's become very difficult for AI to judge whether the person is moving or just sitting there. And
mm,
also, like, more of it should be based on customer feedback. Like if a waiter is serving him, whether there is good, whether was proper way, whether their food was delivering fast or not.
mm,
This should be more monitoring instead of the movement, in my point of view. And apart from that, you guys were taking about the restaurant and how they can manage inventory or check the historical data. But if we go for the India scenario right now,
mm,
there are lots of QSRs are opening up day by day due to the boom of Swiggy and Zomato. But
mm,
if we go and look into those restaurants, they are working with a very minimum capital.
true.
They don't have that kind of resources to maintain a eggshells, even a eggshells sheet. If you see they write down in a copy or something like that, if we little bit go higher who do maintain an Excel sheet, but most of the time their data isn't that much in a proper way. They just write how much input, like if you say about the inventory, the things they are buying or not. Thing is that like it should be provided into more of a service base to everyone. And if
Mm.
we go for the data, the most of the data is right now with Swiggy or Zomato instead of with the hotel or the restaurants. That's the main problem. Like we try to build something similar, but that was when we talk about the restaurant, they don't usually give this amount of data. If we go for the like smaller side of business.
No, I understand. Very small business is difficult, but Omar and uh, Alex also want to talk. So Omar, first I go to you if you want to talk about it. Yeah, go ahead, Omar. Yeah.
Hi, I think I'm audible and visible right now.
Yeah, yeah.
So, first of all, it's been a really pleasure to hear from everyone, especially the insights from Professor Alex and Ayush as well, by the way, from Startup Grind. Me out here in Oman, we are very close up with Startup Grind. It's one of the important events that we always attend as a startup. So, I'm Umar, I'm the founder of Walk. It's more or less into spatial computing for indoor navigation into malls. But now, speaking on the topic, I would like to add up on something that Ayush mentioned, and even the previous speaker, I could not get his name, regarding what you people mentioned about CV, computer vision, and cameras. So here's one thing that me, as in I was researching about and constantly working on, and it felt something was interesting, and I would love to know your opinions on that as well. It's about computer vision cameras that would detect what kind of orders that people are taking, and it would even understand their age groups visibly, as in if it's a male or female, what kind of age group is it, middle-aged, old people. It's ideally for cafes. So the agenda was that we could probably explore those kind of data that we would be getting from which kind of person ideally uses which kind of meals and what do they actually prefer for. And based on that, what we do here at Walk is we really provide them a spatial interface. It's more about the user interface for them, as in the moment they enter the mall, they would be given dynamic advertisements of what the people of their age group or the people of their group would be using. Now, here out here in Oman, and I would understand that Mr. Yasser would also understand this, that in the Arab area, the people have really huge inclination towards coffee, especially the Arab people. And this is something that it has been tested out, and it has been seen that this thing, if the moment an Arab person enters, or even a non-Arab person generally would enter a coffee or a cafe, and they would be advertised exactly on their phone using BLE technology, beacon, or Bluetooth geofencing, they would be advertised exactly the meal or the preference that they have. That would really increase the
Mm.
foot traffic that would come to them, and it would create a really good engagement and a memorable experience that I believe that generally restaurants are not interested, or generally restaurants think it's too much of an investment for them to go for initially. Now, these are my thoughts, and it's been a research something I've been working on, and I just felt like something like this would eventually, revolutionize the restaurant industry, and even in retail stores as well. But I would love to know your opinions on this as well. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, Professor Alex, if you want to talk about this more.
Yeah, so I want to combine what Omar has said and what Yasa has said before, but I relate it to. So with your sentiment analysis, checking to see if maybe the reviews, negative, positive, and combining what Omar was talking about as it relates to more like computer vision, right? So if you have video cameras in your restaurant, obviously with the customer's permission and awareness, right? That should be able to tell you uh, how satisfied visually somebody is with their customer, with their relationship with the waiter or the person that's serving them their food, or with their order, or if they're looking at your menu, should be able to tell if they have like grimace on their face or they think that the menu is difficult to navigate or to read. So there's a lot of combination, but what Yasa was talking about as relates to Dubai Mall is to get that information about the taste of their own burger, you need to have the data. So even small businesses, they have to invest in data. Tie into what Michael said is, he says that data is the new oil, right? Data is king. You have to, if you cannot get your own data, if your own data set is small, you still have to extrapolate with data. How do they know that there's a big demand for shawarma in Dubai Mall? Because they have to get those data set to use it to change their menu or to decide what to do. So at the end of the day, and what Michael Collins was talking about a digital journey, the companies have to invest. You cannot be, if you're a company in India and you're still taking orders by pen and you're still issuing maybe manual receipts, you're missing out on opportunity to collect valuable data. Because I said in the US, at the POS, it's a great place to get data, know what people are buying, what they're charging, and be able to analyze it. So all of this have to be tied in, and at the end of the day, they have to spend some money.
Certainly. Michael, you want to say something on that?
Yeah, I'm totally in agreement on that. It's all about that digital journey, and as far as the sentiment analysis and things like that, a lot of organizations, whether they like it or not, they'll start to get feedback, especially with consumer-based groups like restaurants. So they'll start to get feedback almost right away, especially if it's bad, right? Somehow, one way or another, they'll start to get reviews, and then they can start to pull that reviews in, use some really kind of simple tooling that's readily available, whether to kind of take that data that they currently have on those review sites, analyze it and get kind of a sense of like what things are doing good, what things can be improved. And so I think that's an area where you can get a quick win, because you can get a quick win because a lot of times you'll be able to, unless you're a very new restaurant, you'll start to get some insight from your customers' feedback almost right away, especially on the things that are not going well, right? And so, and you can leverage a bunch of tools out there that are free, readily available. Like a lot of people mentioned ChatGPT, you can throw stuff in there and say, what's the sentiment of this? You can, as you get more and more, where you need more advanced kind of support, that's when Techno Exponent and the team we have can begin to kind of dive in and provide additional support to take you to help you deeply understand it and really kind of get more granular into how you can make improvements.
Absolutely. We have go to some Q&A already. I got it. So because we have only 10 minutes, 15 minutes, so I want to go Q&A quickly, and I want, if you want to, anyone want to talk about it. So first question has come like, hey, I'm just curious about how AI can make dining experience more personal for customers. Like, do you have any cool examples where AI been used to tailor the experience and make the guest happier? Anyone want to take this question?
Yeah, I would love to answer this. In case if somebody doesn't want to, if somebody wants to address, please go ahead. Otherwise, I can definitely give you some answer on that.
We can listen both. You and Omar both has want to pick. So first,
Omar,
I want to
go
listen
ahead.
to you.
I'll give these good examples with this. You go ahead. I'll definitely come up with the another example for sure. Please go ahead.
Oh, that's fine. You could have gone ahead. I just happened to click up. But yeah, this is something that we have not really implemented out here yet in Oman, but with the partners in USA, and we've seen something that has happened in the mall markets, especially with retail stores and food outlets and food courts in malls, is that the AR software that the people are using for the application by the partner, they are able to, the moment the meal comes directly to them, they just look up, they just bring the phone up and scan the meal. They don't really scan the meal. What they do is just bring the phone up, it's automatically scanning, and it shows them what kind of ingredients it has, and it's all of an instant what kind of calories it has. So they don't really need to have another application, especially people who are on diets. They don't really need to have another application to see what's the meal plan that they need to take, if it's matching the meals that they need to have for the day. And it's something that really engages the person whilst they're eating, because it's a fact that always, no matter what, I mean, especially in this generation, millennials and Gen Zs, wherever they go, they have their mobile phone. So that's the tool that they targeted, and that's how they increase. And that's something I thought I would share along, that I felt, and I've seen a lot of people being really happy with it out there in US as well.
Yeah. Yes, so you want to add something?
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. In fact, I have also collected some of the data. I've sent you right now in the chat box. Anybody of you can just, in a quick sense, just scan these any of these AR, and you can see how beautifully they've created these ARs, and like you can see every single thing right in front of your eyes. So anybody who has an iPhone or Android with QR code scanner, just scan it and see in front of you what sort of magic does it do, what sort of AR like implementation has been done. You can see the product in your hand. And I'll also give you one of the I'll also share with you all one of the link through which you can see some of the best ways. Uh, just a second. I have actually collected one of the data for this. It's really beautifully they have been shown. And if anybody could run this, it would be even greater. I'm just now sharing the link with you all, and it would be very interesting to see. Just a second.
Okay.
Can you play this video, Sabyasachi? It would be great.
Yeah, I can. So I have to share my okay, I have to share my screen in that case. Just a
Yeah.
moment.
Right, that's
I'll
right.
be sharing
So,
it. Yeah.
yeah, it's exactly what Omar was talking about, and I've also gone through the same detail.
Let me know if you see my screen here.
Yeah, we can see. I can see your screen for sure.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. The wrong link has come. Okay, let me refresh it. Yeah. Oh, sorry. It's a Modi. So
Yeah.
just a moment. I open it in one more time. So it's from chat. So yeah. I think you see my screen.
Yes.
Yeah, we all see your screen.
But the audio, you're not sharing the audio, but
Yeah.
that's fine.
So that's how you can see how beautifully it has been presented out here using AR. The way this product has been moved, the links that I have shared with you all, you can also just scan it and open the AR, and you yourself can also move the product from here to there. Any of these products. Even tomorrow, if, pardon me, Alex, if you would like to see this girl right next to
Yes.
your door, at the door, you can just open up and you can just show it to your wife and you can tell her that, wow, I've got a new girl.
So, what I wanted to contribute to this was about the question about making the dining experience more customer friendly or better. So, there is a
Exactly.
restaurant at DIFC called Kiza. When you sit down to eat, they have that robot that walks around. So, there's a way you could do the, sorry.
Asim, if you mute yourself, please. Yeah.
So, So
Yeah.
that AI can be integrated. That robot could be integrated with some AI to make it what's called a cognitive robot, and it can come next to you before you eat and interact with you. When I was there, I was like, they could make this thing a little better. It will come next to you and maybe play your kind of music or ask you, "How are you doing today?" and collect some data that they can use. But they never be able to implement it. That could be one way to make the experience better. Go ahead.
Yeah. Similar one, there is one restaurant in downtown, Xenon. Xenon is a very well-known brand. They use this AR for their own restaurant, and they are pretty well known for their products. And there's also one worldwide brand which is quite famous. I don't know if you have heard the name. This is what's the name? I'm not getting exactly that. name.
Mhm.
In case if
No
I
worries,
get
yeah.
to know, I'll tell you all for sure if I get to know for sure. So there's one very famous restaurant, bouquet banquet of Hoshima. Banquet of Hoshena, which is a very famous brand. If you see, they are available in UAE, in Dubai, in London, as well as in multiple countries, good
Mhm.
ones. And they are quite famous for their the kind of AR they have implemented in all their tables and everywhere. And that's how they are taking a lot of good customer experiences. But definitely, they are not the small one. They are quite big, and they have that sort of budget. So they
Mhm.
are not budget friendly, I would say. They are not competent with respect to the market value, I would say. They are niche kind of restaurants.
That's true. In this market, how far I've seen, like, especially, budget is a matter for a restaurant owner. Few more questions come, and I believe few of the question already been discussed, but one of the questions what I feel which is relevant, and I believe this is a matter of worried also some of the restaurant owners. So they're saying like, regarding using the customer data with AI, what should restaurant owner keep in mind to stay on the right side of ethics? Any guidelines or any tips?
So I consider myself an AI ethicist, and I practiced law for years. You have to be very, very careful. That's why you have to give them a disclaimer and a notice. If you see, like, especially with GDPR, and if you're in Dubai, we got a lot of Europeans there. You just got to make sure you notify them, and you should collect the minimal amount of data that you need. Don't collect more. And you need to make sure you are doing like tokenization, masking of data. Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble. So that would be my one little piece in there.
Anyone else want to talk? Michael, do you want?
Yeah, I think that's right. Whatever laws are applicable in your country, you want to make sure that you're following the guidelines for the per country, whatever the laws are that apply. I will add though, to that other point about how it's being used to improve customer experience. One way, from some users I've interacted with, one just kind of looking at it from a different perspective to improve experience. A lot of times, so giving an example, you go to a restaurant, you purchase a meal, and if you're using credit cards or some type of electronic payment system, and then you tip, there can be at a restaurant level, staff members who try to exploit that tipping amount.
Yeah.
So let's say, it's 50 cents you tip, but the person makes it 60 cents, and so if it's electronic, a lot of times people, depending on the region and the amount, but they may not notice that small difference. But across, let's say if it's a high value restaurant, they get a number of customers they interact with each day, that can be additional dollars in that person's pocket that shouldn't be there, and impact, if the users start to notice it, impact that company's brand. So one way, even though it's looking at it from a different way, is you can leverage AI for fraud detection within your own staff to kind of allow you to better detect actors who are, as an example, in this case, are outliers as far as how much earnings they're getting for tips, right? And so you begin to get alerts for that, begin to kind of dive into that data and understand what you can do to improve and how you can, negate that type of activity. But that's another way of how you improve experience, but not in a more customer not in a way that's, that you described earlier, but in a more kind of customers aren't being charged unnecessarily, for things that they didn't, put into their tips and those type of things.
Agreeing on that. So thanks, Michael, for a view. And final one questions I want to take, because we have only 5 minutes left. So that question I feel very relevant. Like, they are talking about, like, after driving into AI and everything, how can restaurant owner can figure it out, like this have an oath in the investment? So is there any straightforward ROI they say? I understand this is most of the small business restaurant owner has things that are, do you think that they can see in a straightforward ROI, or how they feel like it's really worth to invest into this particular market. Anyway, so I'm again repeating the question. After diving to the AI, how can restaurant owner figure it out that it was worth the investment? Is there any straightforward way to see ROI?
Is that an ROI question?
Yes, it's
return
an
on
ROI question. So
investment
restaurant
question?
owner can see the ROI directly if they invest in AI. Let's say I'm a restaurant owner and I invest like let's say $3,000 to Techno Exponent or any company to build my AI stuff. Now, do they feel like they can see some straightforward ROI, return of their investment, or why they invest that money to build that system? Because it's a cost involved in training, cost involvement to development, services, etc., etc. So will they see the ROI? Straightforward way?
Yeah, so there's a couple ways they can potentially see ROI pretty quickly. One is with a recommendation system especially if they do a lot of online ordering, right? And so each incremental dollar that they get adds to that they weren't getting before adds to that kind of ROI calculation thing. And so let's say before people would buy 3 items on a menu, and now with your recommendation system they're buying 4. You're starting to get that incremental added value from using a system, an AI system. In addition, using or thinking about the example I just shared, you improve retention, right? Because now customers, maybe they see that some 1 or 2 customers noticed that extra tip was on the bill, and now they don't come back to the organization. Now you reduce that impact, keep retention, and so those are just dollars that are being added back to your organization that you lost because a bad actor at your organization or a waiter or something like that. So I think recommendation system is probably going to give the organizations their biggest bang for their buck because they'll get almost immediate incremental value per each kind of additional item that's purchased.
So that's one kind of
I would
setup.
like to
Anyone?
add one more point over here. I would like to add up one more point
Sure,
in this.
sure.
See, AI, the basic work, I would say, like one of the most basic work of AI is to analyze the consumer behavior. So when you
Yeah.
talk about consumer behavior, definitely it's going to analyze what sort of consumers have come up. And when you talk about the data analysis is going to give you in a nutshell, which are actually the customers, what they have been buying, what they are not buying, and like if you have a list of regular customer which is coming to your cafe or your restaurant, and every time they are ordering certain things, and now they have started ordering something else, this AI itself can analyze these particular patterns and they can come up and tell you, okay, that these are the basic changes. So you can target those specific customers for specific food. For example, if I'm a customer who's regularly coming over here and exactly I'm buying only one particular stuff from you, so the system knows that I am a specific buyer for this specific things only. Why not to cross sell or like upsell or come up and promote something from its own end? Okay, this is something very new which you have not tasted, let's go for it. And that way I would start buying something else which is even more expensive, or maybe it's going to give more profit, or maybe I'm going to give you more mouth publicity with my own word of mouth publicity. So in that way, definitely AI can with respect to consumer behavior, with that way definitely can add a very good value to the firm, to the restaurant.
What
Yeah, go
Yasser
ahead,
said
Alex.
is there was a point you asked or a question you asked that we kind of bypassed. You were asking how to get them to buy related products, or how do I know that if you buy milk, you're going to buy cookies? Like in the restaurants in the US and in Dubai too, you notice that they put certain items close to each other. So one way to maybe check your ROI is if you invested in AI and it told you that in Dubai Mall or in Dubai, people who buy say like a cereal buy almond milk or something, and then you put them together. So that might be another way to gauge the return of your investment.
Absolutely. Thanks, everyone. So just to conclude, like what I feel this way, like there is definite ROI can be generated through this if the restaurant owner, small, medium business owner who at least using a CRM system or a point of sale system to selling their products, so they can easily extract the data and build the AI based system which actually help them to make up predictions, make a proper ROI generation method which they can get a more and more sales. So that's the message to the restaurant owner. So that's my conclusion. Anyone on you want to conclude something before end of this discussion?
I would just say for restaurant owners, start now. Get on the journey. The competition, more and more competitors or other restaurants are going to start using or start building out their data and start using AI. And so to give a better experience for their customer, whether that's price optimization, better experience, new things to purchase, all of those type of things. So start now. Leverage firms like Techno Exponent or free tools in the market to really begin that journey before it's too late. Because as we get deeper and deeper into this kind of AI journey across the globe, you don't want to be left behind. So I'll just say start now.
Thank you, everyone. And if anyone going to the Phoenix, so reach out to me into the LinkedIn. We like to meet you in Dubai. So any of going to the Phoenix event, okay, in Dubai.
Sure. I'll be there.
Oh,
Let's
great!
meet
So
up.
happy to meet you there. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.